मोदी जी, मैं एक गंभीर प्रश्न पे आऊं उससे पहले एक सवाल आपसे जानना चाहता हूं, देश भी जानना चाहेगा। आप अपनी जेब में पर्स रखते हैं क्या? पर्स रखते हैं क्या, बटुआ जिसके अंदर पैसे होते हैं?
ऐसा है, मेरी कठिनाई है कि पहले तो पैसे थे ही नहीं, जब बटुआ रखने की जरूरत पड़े तो बटुआ रखते, तो बटुआ में रखने के लिए भी तो कुछ चाहिए। पहली बार जब एमएलए बना, मिनिस्टर बना गुजरात में, तो गवर्नमेंट का पैसा आने लगा। उसके पहले तो कुछ कमाई दवाई की।
ये 2001 की बात कर रहे हैं?
हाँ। उसके बाद बैंक खाता खुला, बैंक खाते में पैसे आने लगे, पीएम बना तो आए। अभी हर महीना जो डेली मेरा खर्च होता है उतना मैं उठाता हूँ, और वो भी हमारा स्टाफ जो होता है उसको दे देता हूँ। देख लेना भाई, दाल सब्जी में कुछ पैसे देना पड़ता है तो दे देना। खुद के जेब में तो कुछ होता नहीं है।
कुछ भी
इस सवाल को पूछने पर हो सकता है बड़ी आलोचना हो, लेकिन मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ। मैं भी एक इंसान हूँ, सुमित भी इंसान है, आप भी इंसान है, मेरी भी दो आंखें हैं, आपकी भी दो आंखें हैं। मैं भी कई बार ऐसा होता है थक जाती हूँ, और मैं ये कहती हूँ कि बहुत थकान होगी, अभी नहीं होगा। सच बताइए, वाई डोंट यू गेट टायर्ड? आप थकते क्यों नहीं हैं? आप बहुत ज़्यादा पजेसिव हैं अपनी कुर्सी को लेकर? आपको मज़ा आता है काम करने में, या कोई टॉनिक वगैरह आप ले रहे हैं? क्या राज क्या है?
हमारे प्रधानमंत्री आम खाते हैं? ये भी उसका क्वेश्चन है कि आम खाते हैं, और अगर खाते हैं तो क्या काट के खाते हैं या ऐसे गुठली के साथ खाते हैं? मतलब होता है ना, वॉश बेसिन के ऊपर खड़े होके गुठली के साथ आम खाना, उसका मजा ही कुछ और होता है। तो मैं जानना चाहूंगा कि आप आम खाते हो?
एक तो मैं आम खाता भी हूँ और आम खाना मुझे बहुत पसंद भी है।
अच्छा।
और गुजरात में आम रस की परंपरा भी है।
वो तो बहुत।
लेकिन जब मैं छोटा था तो वैसे तो कोई आम वाम खरीदना वरीदना तो हमारे लिए कोई उस प्रकार की कोई लग्जरी हमारी फैमिली थी नहीं। लेकिन कभी खेतों में चले जाते थे तो हमारा देश का जो किसान है बड़ा उदार रहता है। कोई खेत में आकर के खाता है तो कभी रोकता नहीं है, चोरी करता है तो रोकता है।
The soundbite, the full soundbite from Tim Russert, you said to him was, "I'm very pro-choice. I hate the concept of abortion."
Correct.
But I'm very.
Why didn't you read that? By the way, why didn't you read that before?
I pulled it up the Wi-Fi.
No, but why didn't you read that before? You didn't read. I hate the concept of abortion.
I'm reading it to you. My question.
Excuse me.
Are you a trustworthy?
Excuse me. Very trustworthy.
Chameleon?
More so than you, because you know what? You didn't read the question. See, when you quoted Tim Russert, you didn't read what you just said. Read it again.
No, read it again. I'll read it now.
Go ahead.
I'm very pro-choice. I hate the concept of abortion.
Okay, you didn't read. Why didn't you say, and when you asked the question before, that I hate the concept of abortion?
Because the question from the pro-life groups
No,
is can't be trusted.
You were quoting Tim Russert, and you were quoting, excuse me, you were quoting Tim and you were quoting me. Why didn't you read my quote the way I said it?
Sir, I tried to pull it up and I didn't have Wi-Fi.
Well, then you got to get Wi-Fi, okay? Don't ask me questions like that. You're not a very good reporter doing that. Okay, go ahead.
Charts.
I'd love to.
We're going to look.
Let's look.
And if you look at death,
Started to go up
here's
again.
one. Well, right here, the United States is lowest in numerous categories. We're lower than the world.
Lower than the
lower
world?
than
What is that?
Europe.
In what?
Look.
In what?
Take a look. Right here. Here's case death.
Oh, you're doing death as a proportion of cases. I'm talking about death as a proportion of population. That's where the US is really bad.
Well,
Much worse than South Korea, Germany, etc.
you can't do that. You have
Why
to go,
can't I do that?
You have to go by where. Look, here is the United States. You have to go by the
many
cases.
times that the U.S. is doing far better than any other country when it comes to testing.
Yes.
Why does that matter? Why is this a global competition to you if every day Americans are still losing their lives and we're still seeing more cases every day?
Well, they're losing their lives everywhere in the world. And maybe that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very unusual answer. Yes, behind you, please.
Sir, why are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm
That I
telling
should
you.
ask
I'm not
China?
saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question
That's
like that.
not a nasty
Please
question.
go ahead.
Why does it matter?
Okay, anybody else? Please, go ahead in the back, please.
I have two questions.
No, it's okay.
But
We'll
you
go over
pointed
here.
to me. I have 2 questions, Mr.
Next,
President.
next, please.
But you called on me.
I did, and you didn't respond, and now I'm calling on
Sorry, I just
the
wanted
young
to,
lady in the back, please.
I just wanted to let my colleague finish.
Okay.
But can I ask you
Ladies
a
and
question?
gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate
But
it.
you called
Thank you
on-
very much.
But your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and
Well,
so
that's
on.
true.
But
They weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood. These were people. This was an actual. It happened a few days ago, and
They're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of
you know
miles
what?
away.
I
That's
think
not an
you
invasion.
should- honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN,
All right.
and if you did it well, your ratings
Let
would
me
be
ask,
much
if
better.
I may
Okay,
ask
that's
one other
enough.
question, Mr. President. If I may ask
Peter,
one
go
other
ahead.
question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's
Mr.
enough.
President, I
That's
was going to
enough.
ask one of the other folks. have
That's
had-
enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr.
Excuse
President,
me. That's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other
Peter,
question,
let's
if
go.
I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned
indictments-
about anything with
that you
the
may have
Russian
indictments coming down?
investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a very rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter, go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts his
Well, I'm
butt
not a
like
big
the rest
fan of
us.
yours either, so
I understand.
to be honest.
So let me ask you a question if I can. You repeatedly said...
You aren't the best.
Mr. President, you repeatedly, over the course of
Okay,
the...
just sit down, please.
अगर हम करें तो करें क्या, बोलें तो बोलें क्या। वाह मोदी जी वाह वाह।